Okay, so you have been a single mom, entrepreneur, raised a fabulous son. He's almost on his way to college. One more year. How'd you do it?
I just do it. I know people make such a big deal about being a parent. I mean, you just do it. You do what you have to do. Frankly, I didn't know that there was any other thing to do. I mean, you have a child, you raise a child. There was just no. I didn't know that there was another option. So I just did what and I didn't do much else. I mean, really, I just spent time with him, and went to work and did the business, and that's pretty much it. Now that he's older, and he's a good kid. He's gonna be 17 next week. He's just a dream of a child, and I can leave him home. I can do, and so I'm sort of like rediscovering this independence.
Oh yeah,
that I have, and it's kind of it's kind of wild.
Yeah, getting your space back.
It is, yeah, and it's and it's been really neat. I have a really good relationship in the sense that we're almost more like roommates and friends to an extent. I mean, he certainly respects me, and we certainly have a child-parent relationship. But when it comes down to a kid around, he's got a great sense of humor.
Well, and he's maturing.
Yeah,
he's maturing nicely, and so it's made it a little bit easier for you to kind of maintain that kind of
absolutely. With all of the spiritual work that I've been doing over the last 3 to 4 years, the one I don't want to say it's really a regret, but I kind of wish I had found this earlier so that I could have introduced it to him earlier. Because I know that there are times when he thinks I'm just completely cracked at that, you're out of here, but slowly but surely starting to work this idea of enlightenment and consciousness into our everyday conversations, and that's really, I think it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's really fun, and I'm hoping that he can really embrace that.
So how are you integrating that into your work?
Well,
is it through projects or ideas that you offer? Could you kind of explain what I have an idea, but you would kind of
explain what landscape architecture is? Well, as far as just the nuts and bolts of it, landscape architects design everything from the building walls out. So, in conjunction with civil engineers who make sure water runs downhill. We lay out hardscapes, so patios, terraces, sidewalks, and choose the plant material, design the planting areas, and anything in scale from a small garden or a small little meditation space for a hospital, all the way up to entire subdivisions. So we've planned out 500-acre subdivisions. So the scale and the scope can, is really versatile. It depends on kind of what direction you want to go. My firm does a lot of work in the healthcare industry for hospitals and nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, and we do work with park and recreation, so for park districts and forest preserve districts, that type of work, and municipalities. So we kind of stay in that. Even though healthcare is technically privately owned, it really is a public use. It's a public sector. We really don't do any residential work at all. Very seldom do we engage in residential design, but that's kind of the area. So that's what we do. Essentially, we will get a project. We will get the plan from the civil engineers as far as what the driveways and the parking lots are, and then we design everything that's green. So
now, how do you integrate your practice into your business?
Well, the idea is really to deliver an experience to the users. So I have two groups that I'm working for. I'm working for the clients who are signing the checks and paying bills, but working for the users who are, anybody who happens to walk through that space. And the idea is to, whether these people realize it or not, to give them an experience that will help to connect them to what I call their origin. Some people call it origin, source, spirit, God, but to really, and it's not even as much spiritual, but like your physical connection to the earth, to the planet, to nature. I firmly believe that each person is meant to have a connection to the physical planet, and through that connection to the physical world, to the physical, to nature, to the trees, and to the wind and the sun, and the experience of really feeling that and experiencing that is a way to broaden our connection with God. And I see it as a gift. And yesterday I was in my office doing some bookkeeping stuff, and I had the windows open. Our windows used to not open. Well, over the winter they did some work on it, the windows open now. So I had all the windows open, and I could smell that clean laundry dried on the clothesline smell coming in the windows, and feel the breeze now and then. And I got to tell you, I was pleased as punch playing with QuickBooks. And it was a gorgeous day. But it was just that being able to take that deep breath and get that smell and feel that.
I think underestimate how their physical environment can affect them. Absolutely. And whether it's the interior or the exterior, we have an opportunity to constantly be creating an experience for ourselves even. We're going to ask you for a couple of, tips at some point in this conversation. But it's so important, and we've all probably had experiences like that. It's like when we've had gray days for a few days in a row, and you finally get a blue sky. I don't care if it's the dead of winter or if it's like springtime. Don't you all feel like, oh, I'm so glad I had this opportunity, and like it's a beautiful day? That's the experience, and this is just me, but that's the experience I think we have the opportunity to continue to perpetuate, to help people remember that small things can make a huge difference in the quality of whatever experience you're engaged in the moment. And we have an opportunity to help create that in our own space. You may not own the office that you sit in, but you certainly can bring green things in and sit them on your desk, or a photograph, or your desk set can be designed in a way, this connection, this opportunity to connect is certainly there, and it's underutilized.